You're watching UATV News. My name is Ina Kosinska. Good evening. About 45,000 people left Crimea after occupation, and those who remained there are subjected to systemic harassment. This was stated by the permanent representative of Ukraine to the UN Serhiy Kyslytsia during the presentation of the draft resolution on human rights in Crimea. The document includes the requirements for Russia to stop gross violations on human rights and allow representatives of the UN and OSCE to the peninsula. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry hopes that the adoption of the new resolution will enforce international pressure on Russian Federation.
I am grateful to the member states that supported the draft of the strengthened resolution on human rights in Crimea in the UN General Assembly Committee. When the Assembly approves it in December, it will further consolidate the pressure on Russian Federation, so that the occupying state adheres to international obligations, in particular to international humanitarian law.
New entry records: 13,357 cases of COVID-19 were detected in Ukraine over the past day. 257 people have died. The record number of new infections was registered in Kyiv, Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia regions. 1,500 patients had to be hospitalized. The Ministry of Health reminded the algorithm of actions for suspected with coronavirus.
Do not self-medicate in any case. It is not necessary to go to a drugstore once you detect symptoms. And, for example, buy antibiotics, which are often expensive. Antibiotics should not be taken. This is a viral disease. While the antibiotics are prescribed only by a doctor in case of certain complications, and if there is a need for it. And only symptomatic treatment is prescribed during a viral disease.
From $6 to $9, it's the fine for staying without a face mask in public places. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy signed a law to toughen administrative responsibility. The document is aimed at curbing the spread of COVID-19 infection, the president's office noted. Ukrainians understand such measure.
Let them fine. Do it right. And the amount's $9. I don't know. For workers it can be even more, but for retirees, it can hit them in the pocket.
I think that's right. There should be fines because people often don't wear masks at all. And the fine, maybe that's not enough. You need at least $17 so that it's felt and people are afraid. The players of the Ukrainian national football team have not contracted coronavirus. Immediately after arrival from Switzerland to Boryspil, players passed PCR tests for COVID-19. All results were negative, including 3 players who were diagnosed with COVID-19 the day before in Switzerland. Because of this, the Lutheran doctor placed the entire Ukrainian national team in quarantine, and the Switzerland-Ukraine Nations League match did not take place. UEFA plans to issue a verdict regarding the failed match tomorrow on November 20th.
We had enough players to play this match. Players with negative tests. Therefore, we were ready to conduct it. The decision was already made by the authorities of Lucerne, in a city in which we had to play. Well, we will wait for a decision. I think the UEFA disciplinary committee will deal with this. There is no other fault here.
The first snow reminded the public utilities companies that it's time to check the reserves of salt and sand mixture, as well as the condition of snow removal equipment. Are Ukrainian roads ready for winter? Our correspondents found out.
Ivan is a snowplow driver. He says that with the first snow he had more work. We should constantly clean the roads. Sometimes, when it was cleaned too late, it is difficult to clean everything. Snowplow should be regular. His car not only cleans the snow, it also contains 12 tons of sand. It is spread on roads so that cars do not drive on ice. The work of Ivan's car is regulated by an onboard computer. There is an installation in the car. Here are the gadgets. You can spread more or less salt and sand, depending on the weather. It is all regulated. This one is for spreading and this one operates the bucket. At present, nearly 6,000 units of such equipment are ready for operation in Ukraine, but Ukr Autodor company plans to use the whole arsenal only in case of emergency. In case of harsh weather conditions and possible traffic jams, that is, if the intensity of snowfall is 5 centimeters in 3 hours, the headquarters of Ukravtodor begins its work. The management of the company mobilizes the forces and means of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, Transportation Safety Service and the National Police. Ukravtodor will manage the General Operative Command. They have also prepared more than 165,000 tons of road salt. These reserves will be enough for 1.5 winter seasons. Given the possible occurrence of emergencies, places for large vehicles and heating and service points have already been prepared. Starting from November 11, there was an order of around-the-clock duty. Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Center representatives advised to change car tires into winter ones. They report, by the end of the week, there will be the ice on roads. Reported by Roman Smoler, Artem Golub, Alexander Bugay, UATV News.
Before the conflict in eastern Ukraine emerged, he studied and reproduced the wooden decorations of the galleons in France. His interior panels are exhibited at the National Maritime Museum in Paris. Then Viacheslav Kozak became interested in traditional Ukrainian wooden icons. Our correspondent got acquainted with the works of the master.
The idea of the Capsules exhibition appeared during the meeting of activists from Donbass. Many of them are as an information capsule, which one doesn't want to leave. An installation made of wooden decks is a metaphorical image of this capsule.
Here is a deck, like a capsule, but if we make some effort, a wonderful art object appears. That is, what should we do? Whether we stay in a comfort zone or still get in touch for dialogue, get out of this capsule.
There is only one original icon, the Mother of God Oranta of the sign. The rest are photocopies. The master did not dare to take the icons out of uncontrolled Luhansk. Viacheslav Kozak tells about his works to the visitors of the exhibition with the help of video recording. There is a pear wood, and the icon itself is made of an art. It is a combination of male and feminine. Here is a female, here is male, little Jesus Christ. The main form of the ornament is a stylized egg. In every egg there is a sprout, which breaks through the shell. Each icon has its own individual ornament and it does not repeat. Over the past 5 years, the master has created 20 icons with image of holy healers, using a pair of 3 shades as a basis. He keeps all his works in a small apartment in Luhansk. They are not for canonical use, not in church, not in cathedral, not in a chapel. They are for the home. They are for me, for my soul. The Capsules exhibition was already held in Ivano-Frankivsk, Odessa, Dnipro, Kherson and Severodonetsk. In Kyiv it will last until November 21. Reported by Roman Smoler, Olena Diduch, Alexander Bugay, UATV News.
Ukrainian schoolchildren became winners at the World Robot Olympiad in Canada. About 1,000 young inventors and engineers participated in it. Our participants managed to create the best mechanisms that coped with the assigned tasks faster than others.
And finally, the winner of the Windstorm, Team 117, Ukraine RoboMaker from Ukraine.
The storm swept over the village. The robot removes broken trees, connects electricity, brings water to the school. The Ukrainian team completed the task in 34 seconds and became the first among other participants in the World Robot Olympiad in Canada. We had the best time at the competition, 34 seconds. This year we have progressed. We took the 20th place last year and the first this year. We prepared very well, the robot was fast and we won. The topic of the World Robot Olympiad 2020 was the climate unit. The Ukrainian team of school children won in one of the most difficult categories, basic. My task is to teach children to design, program and configure a robot, so that he can do certain manipulations in 2 minutes, depending on the color and shape. Believe me, this is a very difficult thing. Not just a robot, a child should be taught. The guys have been pursuing their goal for 4 years. The robot has 2 parts, a motor with wheels, and here is a manipulator. He can rotate 360 degrees and grab objects. The manipulator is a very important part of a robot, half of it in our case. You need to set it up like that, to make this backlash of the motor and the gears it perfectly centered. Robotics classes teach logical thinking, young designers' parents say. Programming and exact sciences discipline him strongly and develop his logical well. He thinks and acts logically in any sphere he deals with, and this leads him to a good result. This year, World Robot Olympiad took place online because of COVID-19 pandemic. Next year, the competition will be held in Dortmund, Germany. The topic is energy-saving technologies. Reported by Roman Smoler, Svetlana Sich, Maxim Gradobek, UATV News.
An incredible friendship between a lion cub and a wild piglet. A video from the Kharkiv Zoo was published on social networks. Animals frolic in one enclosure. The worker treats the predator with meat and the cub tries to eat alone. But the piglet chases him and tries to take the lunch. In the end, the lion gives up and gives his meal to a friend. That's all for this hour. More updates on our official website, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube pages. Stay safe and good night.